Okay, so what we have here, number 1. Hic pone sacum malorum plenum. Oh, and it says Leander. All right. What do we have here? Hic. This word is here. Just be sure you remember when it has the macron, it is very different from hic. Hic, the meaning is this. Hic with a macron means here. Pone, here's our verb. We notice from the ending that it's a command. And who's it a command to? Leander, who you can't see it, but his name is over there. So we're telling Leander to put something here. Well, we have to look for something that is in the accusative case, right? It will be our direct object. So the next word here, sacum, the root word is sacus, and so here put the sack. We have malorum plenum. Now, the orum ending of apples, right? Plenum. Plenus aum is an adjective, which means full. What is full? A sack. So here, put the sack full of apples, Leander. Now in English we probably wouldn't quite say it this way. We would say, put the sack full of apples here, Leander, or Leander, put the sack full of apples here. Now we need to translate this into Latin. Put down the sack full of pears there, Cyrus. So it's very similar to this, except we've got pears instead of apples, and we're putting something there instead of here. Let's get our word for there and put it at the beginning, just like we had our word for here then. Here at the beginning. So we'll have to say ilik. And we're also going to give the command to put, because we're saying put down, which is a possible translation for pone. And now we have a sack full of pears. Instead of sacum malorum plenum, we're going to have sacum pirum. Oh, sorry, pirorum plenum. And then instead of talking to Leander, we're talking to Cyrus. And we have to remember that when we call someone by name, it's called direct address, and we use the vocative ending, which for non-US nouns is just the same as the nominative, but since Cyrus is a US noun, it ends up being syre. S-Y-R-E. Okay, on to number 2. Julius filiis Marco et Quinto Pyrrha dat. Julius, probably our subject, he's got a nominative ending here. Filiis, dative. Marco et Quinto, dative endings. Pyrrha, pairs, more than one. Dot, to give. We've been seeing that when we have this, we're giving something to people, so that's why we have all these dative endings here. So Julius, gives is giving, does give, and what is he giving? Something that's has an accusative ending. And Pyrrha is accusative for the neuter noun pyrum. A. So he's giving pears to whom? To Marcus and Quintus, his sons. Julius gives apples to his maids, Delia and Syra. So we need to make the same. You can see how similar. Instead of giving pears, we're giving apples. Instead of giving them to sons, we're giving them to maids. Instead of giving them to Marcus and Quintus, his sons, we're giving them to Delia and Syra, his maids. So, Julius, and instead of filiis, which is dative for sons, we need the dative for maids. And that would be Ankila is a single maid. Ankilai. Ankilai would be singular dative, and the plural is ankilis. So, and what are the names of the maids? Instead of Marcus and Quintus, we'll have Delia and Syra. So, and we need the singular dative ending here. Delii et Syrai. And instead of giving pears, we're giving apples. So that would be Mala, and do not forget the macron over the A for apple. It is incorrect if it's not there. And he gives them. So Julius gives apples to the maids, Delia and Syra. Number 3. Non solum liberi sed etiam servi mala habent. Non solum sed etiam is something you should get in your brain as not only but also. You'll be seeing it a lot. So we have not only but also, and then our verb. Not only liberi. Not only the children, sed etiam, but also the slaves, and then mala habent. Habent, have apples. Now we have to translate this one. Both Marcus and Quintus run through the peristyle into the garden. And what you have to remember is that when you have a both and, we have the et, Marcus et Quintus, and they're going to be running. We're going to put that at the end. Where are they running? 2 prepositional phrases. Through the peristyle, into the garden. Through is per, peristyle, peristylum. Into the garden. Now, notice the emphasis on the to. We just use the preposition in, but in this case, when we're talking about running into some place, it's movement towards, so we use the accusative. We use hortum rather than horto if we just meant someone actually physically in the garden. And they're running. Now, we have 2 subjects. We have a plural subject, Marcus and Quintus, that are running, so we need to do currunt. Currunt. Because it's plural, the NT. Okay, number 4. Julius ancillas ad se vocat et eis mala dat. Julius is going to do some giving. Who is he giving to? Well, he's not just doing giving. Wait a minute. We have an et here. We're going to separate this into kind of two verbs. He's calling, vocat. Julius calls. Who or what is he calling? He's calling maids. Ancillas. This is accusative ending. Julius calls maids. Where does he call them? He's calling them to himself. Julius calls the maids to himself, and eis mala dat. He's going to do some giving. Gives. Who or what is he giving? Which is accusative here? Mala is the plural accusative for apple. He gives apples. And who or what does he give them to? To them. This is the pronoun form, eis, gives apples to them. Now, Julia runs to Julius and gives him a kiss. What this is trying to, I think, point out to you in number 4 is that whenever you see the word to, it doesn't necessarily mean that you have an indirect object. Only if you have a direct object can you have an indirect object, and you don't have any direct object here. So this to Julius is not dative, it's merely the place to which Julia is running. So, Julia, she's running to Julius, and how we say that is like she's moving towards him. We use the preposition ad Juli, and when that needs to be accusative. Julium. Julius runs ad Julium et. Now here she's giving a kiss to him. We have the verb. What is she giving? She's giving a kiss. That's our direct object. And she's giving it to him. If it makes you feel better, you can write the little to in there. Sometimes in English we leave it out. So let's write gives. We'll put dot at the end here. A kiss, osculum, is what she's giving, the accusative, to him. And that is e. To him, to her, to it, it's all e. Singular dative form of pronoun. Okay, number 5. Nonne haec rosa pulchra est. Nonne is our question word, and it's the one that's 2 syllables, nonne. So we know that everything after this is just said in a positive way, hoping that you'll agree. So, haec rosa pulchra est. This is the feminine singular form of the word this. This rose, haec rosa, is beautiful. And then, because we have our nonne, we have to turn this into a question. And we would say, isn't it? This rose is beautiful, isn't it? Another way to translate this would be, surely this rose is beautiful, right? Now what we have to do down here is translate this. Isn't this pear well shaped? And the speaker is thinking that yes, this pear is well shaped and wants you to agree. So for isn't, we're going to put the plus, and we just need to do the nonne, and then put this pear well shaped. Now pear is pirum. And in order to say this pear, we can't use haec because pear is neuter, not feminine like rosa. So there's a completely different word that we use when saying this pear rather than this rose. And that word is hoc. Nonne hoc pirum. And well shaped, formosum est. Nonne hoc pirum formosum est. Nonne meaning, we're just going to say this pear is well shaped, isn't it? Or surely this pear is well shaped. Don't you agree? And that's the end of 9b for chapter 7.